Hey guys, what's up? Matt here, and welcome to this new video. I thought that I would bring you a review for a fragrance which I have reviewed on my channel. I think I might have reviewed it once, maybe twice. I cannot remember, but I thought that I would bring a new review for it, really shine some light on it. And this fragrance is called Nightflight. Now, this fragrance came out in 1992, and it's classed as a citrus, woody aromatic. Now, I wasn't able to find a perfumer for this fragrance, which is unfortunate because it's a great fragrance. In my opinion, this is a bit of a benchmark scent because this is one of the scents that kind of started off the aquatic genre, if you want to call it like that. In all fairness, I mean, there isn't really anything aquatic about this, but this really does give you this feeling of a kind of fresh, summery fragrance. This is my vintage 30ml, by the way, and I also have a 100ml here, and this one is the newer version, if you like. In other words, this is the last formulation before it was discontinued. Now, this fragrance is nothing like the original Joop Homme. They're both completely different fragrances. Just because they come from the same house doesn't mean that they are the same scent. So the late 80s and the 90s were really just a fantastic period for Joop because they were their own company, and then they did eventually get taken over by a company called Lancaster, which were a fragrance distributor, and they pretty much owned a lot of fragrances from even really big companies. So Joop ended up falling into that type of market where they were owned pretty much by somebody else. And it happened, and it didn't really kill any of their fragrances. This version I have here is by Lancaster. There we go. I'm just going to give it one spray because this little vintage version, I don't know what year it's from, but this stuff's quite potent. Now, this fragrance is just amazing. It really is incredible. This is one of my favorites from Joop. I own quite a lot of Joop's fragrances, even from like the older Joop days, if you like. Opens up very aromatic, very green, and very citrusy as well. So the notes that we get lemon and bergamot. We get a green note accord, juniper berries, and lime. So there's lemon, bergamot, and lime. A very nice selection of citruses, which really, to me, creates this kind of detergent smell, but only literally for the first 5 minutes. Once the 5 minutes are up, the fragrance really starts to have a bit more character after that. I think with the whole astringent smell, it's gone at the minute. I can't really smell it, but I could at first, and it's really synthetic in all fairness, but once that dries down, it gets even better. The green notes that I'm really picking up, in all fairness, it's kind of vetiver. I'm kind of getting maybe like a vetiver cumin like essence from the fragrance. It's herbal, but again, fresh, incredibly fresh. So if you're into your clean scents, this is just great. But it isn't like a citrusy, clean, juicy, tart kind of scent. It's like I said, it's aromatic. It's, very aromatic. So I think with that juniper in the top as well, it really gives this fragrance that kind of powderiness, this kind of powdery, kind of shaving product kind of scent. That's really what I'm getting out of this. I've smelled a few like beard products and men's cleaning products that are scented with juniper, and this is very similar to that. In all fairness, in the opening, it's fresh and it gives off that juniper very, very strongly. But if anything, it's that lemon, which is just really, really pleasant. Pineapple. The pineapple is there. It isn't like you are eating a pineapple candy or eating fresh pineapples out of a tin, or you're cutting a fresh pineapple and you're getting that smell. Not really. It's quite synthetic. It isn't like Aventus. I just thought I'd throw that out there because people seem to associate pineapple with Aventus these days. The middle notes that we get rose, geranium, Brazilian rosewood, lily of the valley, and jasmine. So the fragrance is just very floral. After about 10 minutes, the fragrance turns into this floral, white floral with a little bit of rose, a little bit of geranium, but mainly that jasmine and that lily are just fleeting. absolutely fleeting. So if you're into white floral fragrances, you'll like this. With that citrus up top and the florals underneath, it's just lovely. It was a very, very popular blend for top and middle notes for the early 90s anyway. Companies just loved creating that citrus with that floral mid. It was just very popular, and it still is. Of course, these days there's a lot of fragrances that are released, and they don't have as many notes as what this does. That's for sure. That's what makes this a very interesting scent, and that's what I love about these older fragrances, is the fact that they do contain so many notes compared to fragrances nowadays. But moving on, and the Drydown is just incredible. Now the base notes for this, we get almonds, we get tonka bean, sandalwood, musk, and amber. Now, amber is a bit of a tough one for me. Usually I like to associate amber as being a kind of oriental, warm, spicy kind of smell, you know? Sweet at the same time, kind of like a honeyed, warm, spicy kind of smell. That's what I get from an amber. And this doesn't have it. What this has, this vintage version, it has an absolutely fantastic almond note. So if you guys are into almond, this is amazing, guys. This is so good, to the point where it's not even really in the new version. The new version opens up just fresh, getting a bit of that lemon there. That's really all I'm getting, a fresh, astringent kind of smell. It's really, really beautiful. There's this kind of, it's like a almond, tonka, sandalwood kind of smell in the Drydown, with a little bit of musk as well. Quality. Really, really is quality. This was definitely Joop's version of their fresh scents. This was pretty much their first fresh fragrance for men, really. And I think it was pretty much their first fragrance they ever created in the fresh category. I mean, they had, of course, so many fragrances: Joop Femme, Joop Homme, Le Bain, Berlin, as well, which was from 1990, Nuit d'été, which are all pretty much oriental gourmand sort of fragrances. This one is the first fresh one, and it's, you know what, it's a real shame that it's discontinued. It was a really silly move, in all fairness, from Joop, because I think this fragrance, even in the last formulation, there's no reason at all why they should have discontinued this, because this to me just smells like a very good everyday fragrance any age man can wear, in all fairness. Usually I don't like to talk about age because it doesn't really matter to me. Me personally, I don't care. Hence why I own these fragrances. The bottle alone is just absolutely beautiful. We get this kind of midnight blue, and we get the stars that are just indented in there. I just love, again, going back to the name, Nightflight. It gives me this kind of dreamy theme with the fragrance. There's this like kind of dreamy, traveling through the stars at night kind of theme with this fragrance. That almond and that tonka are really coming through. And of course, I like to usually associate tonka with being more of an evening note, in all fairness, because it's rich and it really gives off this like, well, first of all, the longevity that tonka can usually give off is huge. The same with vanilla and leather and all these other base notes. In this, it is giving me this kind of literally like evening time. So as the sun's setting, it's getting darker, and then all of a sudden the night sky appears. Beautiful stars. It has this nighttime theme to it. The more I smell it, because of that almond and that tonka in the Drydown. But it is just an amazing fragrance, guys. I would highly recommend that you guys check this one out. I absolutely love this. Lasts great on my skin. I get about 9 to 10 hours out of this. This one I get about 7 to 8, so it's a little bit watered down, but it's still the same fragrance. This one just has a bit more of an almondy, citrusy punch to it, which I just absolutely love. But Nightflight by Joop is a fragrance that is unfortunately now discontinued. It sucks that it is discontinued, but it's just one of those things. I just thought I'd bring a review because I enjoy reviewing fragrances that are discontinued, mainly. The fact that you guys enjoy watching them is a bonus. So that is my review for Joop's Nightflight. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It really means a lot. I will see you all in the next video. Keep smelling good, and bye-bye for now.